And welcome, everybody. The first vice presidential debate of the 2012 election is now in the can. The vice president was seen by many as rude. He was often interrupting his opponent, Paul Ryan. Several times he was smiling and smirking. He even used the word malarkey to describe one of the vice presidential candidate's ideas. For more on this, we're joined by Americans for Limited Government's Todd. Here's an example of Biden interrupting.
Look, this is a plan. By the way, that $6,400 number, it was misleading then. It's totally inaccurate now. This is a plan that's bipartisan. It's a plan I put together with a prominent Democrat senator from Oregon.
There's not one Democrat who endorses it. Not one Democrat who signed
Our partner is a Democrat.
Don, your thoughts on Biden's behavior?
Well, I don't think this kind of buffoonish, condescending, rude behavior appeals to people sitting in their living room watching the second most powerful man in the country. I mean, he was disrespectful, he was rude, he interrupted 83 times. I mean, I've been watching these things for 50 years. I've never seen anything like this before on the presidential level. I've seen it in Senate races, usually by losing candidates. I've seen it in city council races. But I've never seen a vice president of the United States act like that.
Let's not forget that they came in with one-party control. When Barack Obama was elected, his party controlled everything. They had the ability to do everything of their choosing, and look at where we are right now. They passed the stimulus. The idea that we could borrow $831 billion, spend it on all these special interest groups, and that it would work out just fine. That unemployment would never get to 8%. It went up above 8% for 43 months. They said that right now, if we just passed this stimulus, the economy would grow at 4%. It's growing at 1.3%.
Here's another question. Was Paul Ryan strong enough in challenging the Obama administration and its work with the economy?
Well, yes, I think he was strong. I think he had command of the facts and the figures and what happened. I don't know whether the average person who doesn't pay a lot of attention to what goes on in Washington, the average person shouldn't have to pay a lot of attention as to what goes on in Washington. But I don't know if they could grasp who was telling the truth and who wasn't.
Here's another clip of Joe Biden on one of his favorite topics, taxing the wealthy.
Just let taxes expire like they're supposed to on those millionaires. We can't afford $800 billion going to people making a minimum of $1 million. They do not need it, Martha. Those 120,000 families make $8 million a year. Middle-class people need the help.
What the vice president is saying is that it is up to him and his fellow politicians in Washington to decide what you need and what you don't. You don't decide, they do. This is the same kind of thinking that led us into Obamacare and all other absurd government regulations that they keep piling on. You vote, they decide.
All right, thank you very much, Don. The next debate will be this coming Tuesday in New York. We will see you then.